Welcome, everybody, to the HRO Adventures Podcast, episode number 20. Rusty, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Dave?
Good. Thanks for having me up at the cabin for number 20.
Oh, man. And it's been a while.
It's been a while.
We missed a week, and I was busy, and I was gone. Went to a wedding in Portugal, which I never go to a wedding in Portugal, but it was kind of fun. And so, but yeah, it was a good vacation. And
awesome.
So how's flying been?
It was a week, so we have some things we could talk about off air that involve emergency checklists. But
we did a muzzleloader hunt while we were gone in the middle of all this too. So we've had it's been fun. It's just the busy time of year, and it's my favorite time. So
on the docket here, we've got thermals, predator hunting, thermals that you look through, not thermals that you wear. And just all kinds of neat stuff in the predator world that you offer. So,
and the predator hunting has been forever.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember my grandparents telling me about shooting coyotes and having coyotes come in and killing chickens, and then growing up, we've had to deal with predators. Here at HRO, we're talking coyotes, but in the state of Washington, we have predator problems with wolves.
Yeah.
We have predator problems with black bears. And it's not just predator problems on ungulates, or the deer and elk and the moose. It's also predators on the trees. Yeah. The timber guys are hating the bear stuff. And then we now have them wanting to reintroduce another apex predator into this whole thing with the grizzly bears, Yeah. And we still haven't even mentioned the cats and the predator, the raptors and all that other stuff. So predators is a big deal, a part of wildlife management, and it is here at HRO as well.
Yeah, and so I think we want to highlight, coming off landowner podcasts and rancher podcasts and farming podcasts, it's a management tool for this kind of operation. You have to, just like you manage the deer and what you shoot each year and things like that. You've got predator management. You've got animals out there that you got to protect.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So we have a special guest today.
We do.
And who do you have?
This special guest actually was a client at the beginning, and I'm not even sure we could call it a client because it was just coyote hunting, and you were just looking for access to get into coyote hunt on the ranch. But it's Kelly Ezell, and Kelly came to us wanting to hunt coyotes. And at that time, you were doing the predator. What am I thinking about when you guys would go to see how many you could get in a weekend?
The competitions.
The competitions that you were doing.
Yep.
And you were traveling the entire Eastern Washington for 4 days. I mean, sleeping in an hour in the back of a pickup kind of deal. Yeah. And so that's how Kelly and I got to know each other, was just doing the coyote deal that way. And I remember Kelly's first year here, and I think you shot like 40 coyotes, and you were like, "Yeah, I got 40 coyotes," and I'm thinking, "Holy cow! I've never shot 40 coyotes in 1 year in my life." And I just remembered how impressed I was by that and how you had done it, and then I started throwing your name out. I know Kelly because he shot 40 coyotes, and it has just grown from there to what it is today. I won't tell the whole entire timeline, but it has we've helped out some cattle producers that have had some problems with coyotes coming in and picking on during calving season.
And I don't think people realize they come up and agitate foals and stuff like that, right? It's not just a scavenger thing. There's an attack portion.
They'll kill them.
You got to have overwatch on, right?
Yeah. So Kelly's done. We've moved him. I've introduced him to some of the cattlemen around the area to do that, and then Kelly's kind of settled in as age has caught up with him, like it has with me and you, Dave. Kelly's kind of got to that point where slowing down. He's not doing the competitions anymore or as much as you used to.
Well, you can't do them anymore in this state.
Can't do them anymore in this state at all.
Rules keep changing.
Yeah, and so. So that's been slowed down for you a little bit, but Kelly's now moved into thermals, and we want to really make sure that we talk about the coyotes and the predators also, but we want to really touch the the thermals, because that is something new on the Hidden Ranch Outfitter website. Something new that HRO Adventures is going to start offering now is
It's up there now. You can go check it out.
it's up on the website now. You can go do these thermals, and so we're going to touch base with that. So that was a long introduction, Kelly. That makes you a pretty special, important person. But what I'd really like you to do is you kind of introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what's about. You've read everything on the website. I had you approve it before we went live out to the World Wide Web. And so, but just tell everybody who you are and what got you started in all this and where you're from.
Well, my name's Kelly Ezell, and I grew up in Alabama, down on the Gulf Coast, and not really from a hunting family. I started chasing squirrels and birds around in the yard with BB gun, and actually protected my grandfather's pecan tree. So we had our pecan pies, and my grandmother cook them for us. And it exploded from there, and there wasn't a whole lot of hunting for about 20 years while I was in the Navy. There was some when I first got stationed up here, but and it was just more big game. Being from Alabama, I'd never seen how big an elk actually was. Of course, the first time I see one, I'm like, wow. And I'd shot coyotes here and there, because they would come in. If you'd shoot a deer and still be in a tree stand down south, and those coyotes are pretty quick to get to them. And I'd shoot them, before they get to the deer or as they get to the deer. And I started running around here, and I was like, I'm going to start coyote hunting. It's something to do after big game season.
Yep.
And, it's hard to fish, at that time of the year, so that's what I was doing. Started learning to call, it's most of it's self-taught, and watching a lot of videos of the classics, Les Johnson and Randy Anderson, and learning a lot from that, and then trial and error. And, call one in the first time, and it's like, oh, wow, 2 came in. How do I get the second one? And just learning from there.
Cool.
So that's the short version, I guess. 20-plus years in the Navy. Fought tooth and nail to get my last duty station up here in Washington and retire up here. And lived on the west side till about 3 years ago. So as Rusty was saying, I hunted over here. I would drive that pass, Stevens Pass, every weekend.
Yes.
My best friend used to joke my truck had an autopilot so I could sleep on the way home.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely, because you'd hunt all the time.
Oh, yeah. And a mutual friend of ours actually is funny how we got to know each other. I don't know if you remembered it or not. But I was saying something about the game farm, and he goes, oh, a friend of mine just bought that. And I'd been wanting to hunt there because I thought there were bobcats in there. And we got to know each other, and then, I've been hanging around ever since.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's been pretty cool. And you driving that pass, I did not envy you at all driving that pass all those times.
But, it did good for me, though, because I didn't want to be stuck over on the west side all winter, not doing anything, watching it rain.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the snow, especially back then. I could stand it better, and I'd run all day and all night, sleep during the week while I was, at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's evolved. I've gone from calling them in the daytime and then call them at night with lights, colored lights, white lights, and gone to using the thermals, and it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Absolute game changer.
Yeah.
So what did you shoot them with when you first started? What kind of gear were you using? Because I know the gear's evolved quite.
Yeah, I started first off with the 223.
Okay.
An AR platform. Kind of I think where a lot of people get started. Mm-hmm. I'd shot them with the 22 mag, which is legal, but you're limited on range.
Yeah.
And then that's evolved too for me because I went up to shooting 22 250 all the time, and sometimes shooting at longer distances. You want to get them dead, but I shot one a really long ways one time and knocked him over, and he just yelped, and it knocked him over. It never penetrated him. And that was it. I was like, okay. So then I went to a 243.
Okay.
And I had the range on him. I had the knockdown power and the killing power. And still, I carry an AR a whole lot also because it's a faster gun. You have the follow-up shots. But mostly at night now I'm using a 6 Creedmoor.
Yeah. That seems perfect.
53 grain or 58 grain bullet, and it's cooking. And you don't have to worry about your elevation. For the most part, after about 350 yards, you know, if it's this big, you're going to hit them in that range.
It's pretty flat.
Nice.
Yeah. So
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
they've, you know, and I've had guys out here to hunt with me and everything, 6.5 PRC, 30-06. You know,
It works.
yeah, it does. You don't get this though with those usually.
You know, you don't get that big of a piece.
No.
Yeah. And for those on the podcast that are just listening in, Kelly has provided us with this has been
A pelt.
This was several years ago.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
He shot this coyote and he had it tanned for us, and so I've had it hanging here in the cabin. So a lot of people have come and seen this coyote hide laying here. But he's laid it out here on the table between us, and so it's kind of, and it is a beautiful coyote hide. Absolutely,
really is,
just a beautiful one that he's provided for HRO, and this gets talked about all the time. I mean, we have it
it is a
hanging right there behind the
conversation piece,
table, and so everybody sees it, and so everybody's talking about it, and it's going to be, you know, it. I just remember, and you know, I don't use this in the stories when I'm talking to folks, but I just remember it was about this time when you had this coyote done. You called me one night and you said, I just shot the biggest coyote I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
And it was, I got a picture of you holding it up, and it is just this monster coyote.
Been eating well, that's for sure.
Oh man.
Yeah. And I actually shot 2 that night. I shot a female almost as big, right up the road here, 600 yards from here. And I was going to have the big male full body mounted.
Yeah.
Well, the taxidermist had it, and he got real sick.
Oh no.
And I lost that coyote.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But boy, I that picture pops up in a memory every once in a while, and I mean, that was the biggest coyote I've ever seen, and but that just goes how long you've been hunting around here and calling around here and the different calls you use. Yeah. So that it is kind of cool. I forgot that you did spotlight when you. First couple of years, I want to say the first 4 or 5 years you were up here, you were spotlighting.
Yep. Longer. It's probably longer than that. It's probably close to 7 years. First 7 years.
Yeah, I'll bet so. I bet so. That was when I could fall asleep in the chair watching a movie, and I'd wake up to Kelly going by my house with a spotlight shining in the window. It's kind of like, I'm here, Rusty, just to let you know. Okay, Kelly.
How you doing? Making sure you're still awake.
Yeah.
So, and there's been times when Kelly was spotlighting clear back then. I remember coming home from a basketball game from my son, and we were coming home, and I'm going, oh, what do we got going on here? My word, there's somebody out. There's a trespasser over there. I see the spotlight going and everything else.
Sitting there.
I get home, and the family's getting out of the car, and they're going up, and I grab my phone, and I look, and it's Kelly's got a text on there. Oh, decided to come up and go coyote hunting tonight.
Okay, yeah.
It's just Kelly. Good deal. I can go to bed now.
I love it.
But yeah.
Well, I think it's a good spot to maybe talk about because there's a lot of perceptions and false information, right? People make a lot of assumptions, even hunters. What are the rules and the limits and the licensing if you want to do predator hunting, first of all, and get that out there so we know how we're doing it?
So
it's unique here.
For coyotes in Washington, a big game or small game license, currently you can shoot coyotes. There is no bag limit. There's year-round season. The specifics on it are on night hunting during big game rifle season, elk or deer. If it's open in that GMU, you cannot hunt at night.
Yeah, because they don't want, the hole. You
Right.
might be doing other stuff with your
Well,
spotlight.
and it
right?
started off with the whole
Yeah.
spotlighting,
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
it's with with the
Yep.
thermals too.
Yep.
Washington's
getting an
probably one of the
advantage,
more
you know.
lenient states on that, which, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, it's shocking. Isn't it?
yeah,
Yes. I was not expecting that.
yeah, it's strange. They did take away our hunting contest though.
Right.
We can't do that, and I won't get into the politics of it, but I think it was benefiting some people, but
They
other
do
people
not
were
like
looking
that
at
word
it.
contest.
Yeah,
do
they
they
were
You get
looking at it
five
the
guys
wrong
fishing
way.
in a boat.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Yeah,
they're upset that you called it a fishing derby, right? We know
Right.
that. There's just certain words they don't like.
right.
But,
But
so
you had
the
to,
small
you had to
game
go
or
through
the
a
big
full
game?
licensing
Yeah.
program for those contests. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
Okay. And then equipment limits? Any unique?
there-
Yeah,
Caliber
you,
limits?
You actually, there's no limits on coyotes.
I haven't seen one yet.
There are none because people shoot them with 17 HMRs, which is pretty effective within its
And that's
range.
what we were talking about. There's a lot of that ammo advertised for this particular purpose. Yeah.
Right, and the 22-250 has been the go-to fast predator bullet. That and the old 222 Swift.
Yep.
Those were
220
the
Swift. Those were
220.
killers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were
I remember a lot of people were carrying 220 Swifts.
oh yeah. And nowadays you've got the
The
22
223.
Creedmoor.
Yeah, there's so many things.
Yeah,
now,
and they've got some fast bullets. And,
Really?
I mean, I'm cranking almost 4,000 feet per second out of that 60
Yeah.
Creedmoor.
And it's just flat.
yeah, it's super flat. And there's faster out there, but my barrels are lasting pretty good.
I was going to say, with
last-
the way you're going, yeah.
The last rifle, 4 years solid hunting, and it's not shot out, but it's getting close. I just bought a new one
Okay.
this past year. So
Wow.
And what brand's rifles do you like? What are you using?
those were both Ruger Americans.
Ruger Americans, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I like those. Yeah.
They're super
Hard
accurate.
to beat.
The Gen 1 had some feeding issues, but if you rack and load fast, you usually don't have a problem with them. I've got the Gen 2 now, and they fixed most of that problem.
Yeah.
And I really like that barrel's a little bit stiffer.
Okay.
It's shorter, so I'm still figuring out my velocities. And,
Are these carbon barrels?
no.
No, these are just regular
These are-
steel.
Yeah, so
Stainless or
the Gen 1 was a American Predator.
okay.
So it had a little bit heavier barrel profile.
Okay, right.
And now they've got the standard barrel is that thick, and it's got the flutes, the twisted flutes all the way
Okay.
down it.
Okay.
But they went to a 20-inch barrel.
Is that good?
You lose a few feet per second, but I'm still cooking pretty fast.
Right.
So
Now the 20-inch barrel would that would be something that adding a suppressor
Oh,
to
yeah.
the end of it would not.
Right.
You're not adding a whole bunch of inches out
and
there.
I always shoot suppressed with those.
You shoot suppressed with those. Yeah.
So I've got a Nomad, and then I've got an e-brake on the end of that, so it's 8.5 inches long maybe.
Okay. Okay.
And it sticks out there.
Wow.
But it's
Yeah, I
not.
bet it does.
It's not like my elk rifle when I put
Like
my,
almost a crew-served weapon here if you're not careful.
Well,
Yeah.
I joke. I got 28 nozzler that I hunt deer and elk with. By the time I put the suppressor on, I don't need to shoot. I just hit them in the head.
Oh,
I know you see guys with those on their shoulders now, and it's like, is that guy got an antenna on? Is
yeah.
that- is
Who's
this
he
a-
talking
Yeah.
to? Yeah.
Is this special forces out here with an antenna on?
But which suppressors do you like? Just because like gear
I've-
people and stuff are looking into these things, right? And the rules are starting to change.
Right.
So.
I've got a Dead Air Nomad 30.
Okay.
And I've got a Gunworks 6.
Gunworks. Okay.
I've also used the Gunworks 8,
Okay.
which I used to shoot on the bolt gun until I got this Nomad.
Okay.
And super impressed with all of them. I like the ability to change and tune the suppressor to the caliper
Oh, I didn't even think about
by
that.
changing your import. It changes.
Yeah.
the
I
sound.
didn't even think about that. Like an old M1 almost, right?
Yep.
Change the
Really?
gas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I didn't even think about it.
The
but it makes
Gunworks
perfect sense.
offers more options for the diameter or the caliper of the bullet. than the dead air does. But in the caps, you've got a small piece that you screw in or out instead of the whole cap.
Yep.
And then the dead air, I think it's a 6.5 that I'm shooting on it. Is the diameter. I'm shooting 6 millimeter. My wife also uses it on her 6.5 Creedmoor. So, and it tunes really good with both those guns.
Interesting.
Wow,
Good to
that's
know.
very cool.
That's definitely something
Now,
to consider.
price-wise, they're about the same?
Pretty close.
Gunworks, is it like more or whatever?
No, actually, surprisingly not. I think you're running around 9 to 1,000 for either one.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Which is...
Pretty standard.
That's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of got their own idea of what they want to do on a suppressor. That might be a whole show all in itself.
I was just
as many
saying,
suppressors as I see
tuning
out
now
there.
would be an option I
tuning.
might look for, right? That makes more sense.
The only thing I probably would have done different with the dead air silencer is if I was going to buy another one and I wasn't in a budget or so much of a budget, because it's not that much more, I would have gone with the titanium,
Okay.
just a little bit lighter. But when you're shooting any longer ranges, or you're really trying to settle down, that extra weight actually helps you when you're shooting to get steady, especially when you're looking at a little TV screen inside your scope.
Oh, yeah.
And trying to get that little red
Watching your
crosshair right on that coyote at 300, 350 yards.
Wow.
It can.
Okay.
That's a pretty fair poke with a thermal, isn't it?
Yeah.
350. Wow.
My longest is 410 over in one of the fields over there, one of the grass fields. But normally I try to keep it under 350. Wow. I prefer to get them, the closer the better. But,
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes it doesn't happen and you want to get them down. So.
Well, cool. Well, we're coming up on time to take a quick break for a commercial. But
Perfect.
When we come back, let's talk about, why we do some predator control and then how that ties into what HRO has to offer. And
Perfect.
And we'll keep it going.
Okay.
All right. We'll be back shortly.
This is Preacher Dave with HRO Adventures. On those clear nights up at the hunting cabins, I love to go out and look at the stars. It's amazing when you get away from the city lights and get out at night, you can see a lot of things. How many stars are up there? Well, the exact number I think is somewhere around like 100 bajillion or maybe a little bit more. They tell me that the furthest star from us is Arendelle, and to get there, all you've got to do is travel at the speed of light, 186,282 miles per second, for 28 million years, and you'll get there. That's how far it is. You might want to pack a lunch, and for goodness sake, don't let your kids convince you to stop at the Butterfly Nebula. You never will end up getting there. Stars are really cool. Why do we talk about a big universe? Well, because the Bible talks a lot about stars and about the universe, and it tells us that God created this entire universe. In fact, it says that he measured the waters in the hollow of his hands, and he marked off the heavens by the width of his hand. From here to here is how big the universe is to him if he were in human size. That's pretty incredible. I wonder, a God that's that big and that smart, and he can create all of this, what kind of God is he? Well, Isaiah 40:11 says, he tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers his little lambs around him and carries them in his bosom and gently leads those that are with young. He is so big and he's so powerful that he can be tender and kind when you're hurting. He shepherds us. He doesn't drive us like cattle. He instead pulls us close to him and carries us. That's the picture of God. You see, this great big God knows that all of us need to be together in one big flock on this greatest of adventures. And he knows that we need to find our purpose. We need to discover our value, and we need to find the meaning that he made for you and for me. And we can find it together with him. This is Preacher Dave telling you, I'm glad we're on this adventure of discovery together.
The Snoqualmie Inn by Hotel America is the perfect location to stay at when visiting the Snoqualmie Valley. With 99 guest rooms, the inn can accommodate travel sports teams and seminars in addition to Valley visitors. Enjoy the breakfast buffet, fitness center, and indoor pool before starting your activities. Coaches and parents alike will enjoy the spacious meeting rooms and lounging areas with food and coffee retailers, all within steps of the front door. Use promo code SNOWPOD for 12% off. Teams contact Lori Hay for reservations and discounts. Make the Snoqualmie Inn part of your stay. And don't forget to use the promo code SNOWPOD. That's SNOPOD in all caps.
Hey, welcome back to episode 20. We're talking with Kelly about predator hunting that HRO Adventures has to offer. So, Rusty, how does the predator hunting work for an adventure if somebody wants to come up and try that?
That's a great question. Kelly and I had great conversations. Of course, we chased a lot of rabbits while we were having those conversations because Kelly and I get to telling stories, and then we get to hunting something else, and then we're back to we gotta fix this guy hunt. And so we had some fun. We had some fun conversations on the phone. But what we've put together on the HRO website is a 36-hour hunt, which to me just sounds funny, but we could not find any other predator hunts like this on the web. I ran into a couple of guys that were doing some back in Kansas, and I couldn't find it. I wasn't doing my search parameters right or whatever. But they had done them when I was talking, or were trying to do them, and I talked to them at the Salt Lake Hunter Expo. Right. And so I was trying to put something together. So what Kelly and I did was we wanted to really focus on the thermal. That makes it more of an adventure, more of something that people don't do on their own. Or that's a whole nother skill level that you need to learn. So we can help you get into thermal hunting and learn it. And so
really find out if you like it before you invest in it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because
there's a steep entry price.
It's a steep entry price. That's a good way to put it. And so we decided we would focus on the thermal, so we have 2 nights. And so we're going to start at, we call it a 36-hour hunt. That's going to be kind of soft, but we're thinking 8 p.m. it starts. So you show up after dinner, have dinner in town, come out to the cabins, get all set up, get put in, get checked in with Kelly and everything else. And we're going to start at 8 o'clock at night, and then we're going to go 36 hours until 8 o'clock a.m., 2 mornings. Okay. And so
it's not a marathon.
So you have 2 nights of hunting and 1 full day of hunting that you can go out, and you can still get all of this experience that Kelly has of calling and why he uses certain calls.
So
and
you could still
things.
do some daytime stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you can do all of that. You get a one full day of coyote hunting, but you get 2 nights. So you get to play the thermal thing twice. In that, now that we've got you here and you're going to be here at 8 o'clock at night, you're going to start off with, it sounds funny to me, but this is new. You're going to go up to the shooting bench, and you're going to sit down at the shooting bench, and you're going to shoot out the thermal. Just the same as we do with our deer hunters. Our deer hunters come in. Once we get all checked in, we walk right out to the shooting range, and we put the gun down on the shooting bench, and we shoot it to make sure it goes bang. Everybody needs to look through the thermal before we start calling coyotes, before we start looking out there. And so that's where you're going to start. And then from there, you're going to go out and you're going to start coyote hunting. And coyote hunting here is November through probably February. I'm just going to say the 4 months. Kelly and I were a little soft on that too.
November, March from the stuff you guys did was what you had talked about.
Yeah.
So
On PNW Wild.
kind of depending on what the weather does, right?
It also depends on what I'm hunting for big game that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to Montana in the middle of November,
Be
I'm not
wrapping
guiding,
this up.
I'm not guiding any
We're not guiding
predator
any coyote
hunts.
hunts. Yeah. So
And then when's calving season again? Remind everybody just to give a.
Well, calving season usually starts some of them start as early as January. Most of them start in February and March.
Some snow on the ground.
Late
still.
February usually is most of these guys are starting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just touch on one of the reasons that we're going to go to the bench and shoot the gun is because looking through the scope, you're not looking through a scope. You're looking at a little TV screen inside that's picking up a heat signature. That's a different platform for people, so different. And I want them to see that and not just the first time they look through it, see a coyote running.
Yeah,
at 'em.
exactly.
It's unnerving. I forget what it's like to first look through them, and I started with some lower quality scopes, so it was a lot different then, and I've moved up to this. But it's to see what it actually looks like and what it's like to pull that trigger, what my triggers are set at.
Oh, yeah. So. Especially, and that's a great point. Leads us right into, we're providing the equipment on this. We're not expecting guys to come out here and invest in the equipment and put it all together, and then come out here and learn how to do it. Now we will get to that point, and somebody may surprise me and have it and just not being successful, and they're feeling that. I've invested all this money, and now I can't make it work.
It's a familiar story, though. Isn't
it is.
We had one person that he wanted to hunt coyotes, and he had heavily invested in some really nice equipment, and he was having trouble figuring out how to use it. And he hired me to teach him and take him out on hunts.
Yeah.
And we've killed quite a few coyotes. He's a very successful coyote hunter now.
Boy,
out on his own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is a great adventure. This is a great skill builder, but also if you want to get into it, this is a great tutoring.
His
to get
learning
into
curve, compared to mine, his was like this, where I was fighting it, learning it myself. So it's something easy to learn.
Yeah, and it's great to have somebody show you the.
And so that's a great point, is that we can be able to help guys with that. One of the other big questions that we have is, because this is a 36-hour hunt, and everybody kind of has an idea of what we do for our mule deer hunts. Those are 4-day hunts, and they're fully outfitted, and you get all the meals, and you stay in the house, take a shower. Well, you get the cabins in that 36-hour hunt, so you are having a place that you can come in and lay down into bed and sleep. But you're coyote hunting, and you're coming and going. And the night hunts get super cold. You got to be prepared for that. And they get rainy, and they get different things to where you don't feel comfortable. And it's not a time when you're usually awake during the day. It's 2 a.m. You may want to come in and take a nap. And so it'll throw your meal schedule off. So we're not going to provide meals. What we're going to do is you bring your snacks, your meals, and you will come in. There's microwaves and coffee pots and cook stoves and ovens, and you can barbecues, you can do all that, but you're going to want to come in, warm up, change clothes, get comfortable, get a little rest, then go back out. Yep. And it's going to be that way for 36 hours. And so it's going to be just how Kelly has learned how to coyote hunt. He's going to bring you up into an experience level and show you how you can do this successfully. And that's what we've provided. So that's it. It's kind of exciting to me, because it's something a little bit different than what we do with our deer hunts, and it's totally different than the pheasants. The pheasants are, I put them out, you hunt for 4 hours, you go home, And so, guys, we make it somewhat more fun with the pheasants doing some things, but this is on its own, stand on its own.
It's a very unique setup.
Very unique setup. So we'll see how it works. We don't know how this is going to work out, how popular it's going to be. And the other thing is Kelly's already said it. I'm just going to reiterate what he said. If he's going elk hunting in November, he ain't coming back for this.
There's some timing and coordination.
Yeah. So, but once the big game hunting is over, then Kelly's back to full-time predator. So.
Yeah, and one of the things on Ron updated the website. It looks great with all the information on it. We talk about it's kind of open to experienced hunters, and we sort of left that. We'd like to talk to you on the phone before you schedule it kind of set up, right? So what are you kind of defining as far as who it's appropriate for and who needs a little work before it's time to do something like this?
I'd say for somebody to hunt at night.
Because it's a different animal.
It's a different animal. One of my friends, Zach, put it perfect. He's like, this feels wrong to walk out here in the dark with a gun.
We've been taught not to be doing this.
We've been told not to do that. But
and there's some safety stuff that just isn't the same as the daytime.
There's a lot of safety to it. I want you to be able to take a little bit of a direction. I'm not bossy by any means, but if you do something safe or unsafe, that's going to have to be it. But I want them to be able to shoot and hit a target, and have a little experience with that, or some experience with that, and be proficient. I don't want somebody who's never shot before coming out here
wouldn't
and trying
make
to shoot
sense,
at night.
Right.
It's going to have to kind of vary on the person. We'll talk, and
So we'd like to have
figure
them
out.
call in, and
Yeah.
we'll kind of assess and come up with a way to
Yeah,
make it.
and there's no stringent set, no and yes. It's like
There's
Just
no
keep
test
in mind, this
Yeah.
isn't probably the bachelor party group who doesn't handle firearms, or
no, and
this
and
is somebody who's got quite a bit of shooting under their belt, would like to go to that next level. Right?
And, and probably one thing that they need to be thinking about is we're out all night, we're handling firearms. You probably don't need to have any substances that are mood altering with you.
yeah. I mean, it's
I'm not
Yeah.
going to tell you no, but if you've been drinking or smoking certain stuff, you don't handle firearms
because
at
night just
much less at day.
exacerbates the
So,
safety side of it.
and that's just completely safety.
Yeah, and we do that with the deer hunting as well.
Right.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
That's nothing new.
The guys
really.
might have a little drink at night, but then they go sleep it off.
Right.
And so we don't deal with that during the hunts. We just don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Permit that.
And it's not being anti. It's safety.
Just too many other
Completely
variables.
safety.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
want to go home to my wife and my dogs
Exactly. Yeah.
and my chickens that jump in my truck. When I get there.
No,
I want you to be able to do the same thing.
We
when you
talk
leave
about
here.
on the site there, do-it-yourself assisted and fully guided. So what are some options? Once people maybe have come out and done this a couple times with you, what's the next step they can do with?
Well, we've talked about that. As far as the thermal goes in the night hunting, it's only going to be guided.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to allow. It's so easy to get lost in the dark. It's so easy to
And
not.
we can't afford to have any of that happen.
We
on
don't want anybody
leased
on the
properties and stuff.
neighbors,
Yeah.
and so we're only going to go with Kelly or
Okay.
if another guide. Like you said, Mark's really elevated himself. I don't
Yeah,
even know
yeah.
if he wants to guide or not, but
Yeah.
he would be the next one I would ask
Oh, he'd be
anyway,
great.
because he's really learned a lot since he went out with
Yeah.
Kelly.
So we've got it in a controlled environment.
We
You'll
do.
have a great
Right.
We do.
adventure.
Now we probably still will always, I got coyote hunter or pheasant hunters that come over here. They'll rent the cabins for a week. They'll come over and they'll hunt pheasants on a Friday afternoon, a Saturday morning, and a Sunday morning, and then go home Sunday night. And in between the pheasant hunts, in the daytime, they're out there driving the county roads, just like every other local high school kid around here with a gun.
Yeah.
They're driving the county roads and they're calling coyotes and they're doing their thing. We're not going to. That's a completely different thing.
Exactly.
We're not going to charge for that. That's the guys come and do it. The other thing a lot of guys come and do is like I just said, we have a shooting range. So you come over here, you pheasant hunt, and then you go up, sit at the shooting range, and we've put some gongs out, and Kelly's been very, very helpful in that, and we're still building that shooting range as we speak. So, so that's something else people can come here and have fun with, and that all goes towards the predator hunting too.
Yeah. Okay. And then still could guys come out for predator hunting, but during the day do the pheasant preserve as well?
Oh,
If you have
absolutely.
openings. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Kelly. I think I
Not
told
with,
Kelly
not with
on
the thermals.
yeah, I did not with the thermals. We cannot hunt pheasants
Yeah.
with thermals. So that would be a whole new thing. We could ask for a special
Be doing our
permit.
podcast from the prison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you think WDF to give me a pilot program? We're
Oh
going to
my
do
gosh.
pheasant shooting at night.
Somebody else can mount their thermal scope on a shotgun. Let's watch how it
Do
works.
not give anybody any ideas.
We may be throwing ideas out
It's
there.
probably out there already, but we're not doing that.
But to still take advantage of the preserve and
Oh, yeah.
and your
Absolutely.
pheasant program. And
Well, and that's where I was going. Was Kelly brought some a veterans group out, and they've done some coyote hunting. Actually, brought some vets out and done some of this. Very good group, very nice guys. Todd's a wonderful fellow. I've talked to him many times on the phone, and Todd calls me here. I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and he goes, "Yeah," he says, "we need to call, and this is Todd, Kelly's friend. I know you, Todd. That's great." And he goes, "Yeah, I need to pick a couple weekends so we can come up and go hunting and everything." And so, okay. And So I'm trying to. I says, well, man, I got pheasant hunters taking weekends, so I'm not really sure what weekend you guys can come and do your coyote deal, but let's get you on the deal. And he goes, I know, we're not. And I says, and then he just kind of was quiet and didn't say anything. I says, well, have you talked to Kelly to see when Kelly's available? And he goes, well, we were just wanting to go pheasant hunting. And I started laughing. I'm going, sorry, Todd, I had you in the predator category over here. And he starts laughing. He goes, well, I guess that's all we've ever done. He says, I have never shot pheasants. We always say we're going to, we never do. So, but yeah, so we could always add that in. Yeah. Adding pheasants in is a moment's notice with guys that are already here. They just got to let me know.
That's why I wanted to bring it up, is just let people know early on. And there's so
the
many
biggest
things
thing would be do you have a pheasant dog? Because if you don't have a dog, I'm going to put pheasants out there, and you more than likely will not find any. Yeah. So that really need a dog.
We'll be coyote hunting there that night.
Yeah, exactly. So then they go coyote hunting that night. That was just So yeah, I would say, I need to know beforehand, so we'd have a guide here with the dog for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's an option. Yeah. And again, many options when you come out. We'll keep you busy for sure.
Yeah. So. And that's the other customized thing we talked about was if you don't have 2 nights you can do this from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., 36 hours later, we'll customize it for you. But once we move into the custom zone, then it's Kelly's work schedule, when we have pheasants available, when we don't have other things. And so, because, I've already had one guy, he goes, well, I only have one night I can hunt. Okay, well, so what are you thinking? When do you want to come? When do you want to go? And, you're only going to get 3 or 4 stands. You're going to be freezing to death. And so, how do we do that? Because that was the other thing in our pricing was it made it worth our while to do it when we did it for 36 hours. When you put all this together for one night, it's almost the same cost to us as doing it if we did it for 2. Yeah. So we're trying to make it work for everybody and offer something that people don't usually get.
If it's of interest, as like we said on everything else, is talk to Rusty, talk it through.
And I appreciate the guys that are calling. Yeah. We've already gotten 5 or 6 phone calls on this thing because they're just like going, what the world are you doing?
Yeah, you can't really just go buy thermal and go out and start this. You need a jumping off point.
Yeah.
And so let us.
And that was the very first phone call was
not go broke.
Do I have to have my own thermal because I can't afford that? And I'm going, no, we're ready to supply that for you.
Yeah, the Armed Forces guys, Armed Forces initiative that we did, that he was talking about. Some of those guys had their own thermals. It was funny because a lot of them didn't know how to set them up, though.
Oh yeah, it's not something. There's a proficiency level.
Oh yeah, and we had a great time, and there were a few of us that were mentors with it and helped the other guys and helped some of our guys. We got a few coyotes. A few other guys got shots at coyotes, and it was really a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we say shots on coyotes, let's just maybe remind folks why we're controlling it the way we are. There's farm equipment. There's animals, cattle, horses,
houses,
other
houses.
Silos,
pets,
barns, whatever.
Pets,
yeah,
we got all kinds of stuff.
So we really have to just put the controls on it just to make sure everybody's happy and nobody ever gets unsafe.
And that's why we decided we're only doing guided.
Nope, makes sense.
Because you really need the buddy system. Yep.
You do.
Kelly's learned all this stuff and a lot of experience, and a lot of it shooting by himself.
Yeah.
But I know Nancy, and she takes care of Kelly really well. So, but she goes out with him and different things. He's got other buddies that come and go hunting with him too. But it's not something you want to do. Kelly's super attentive when he's by himself because you really want that second set of eyes.
Yeah,
because you're looking at a TV screen.
Yeah, it helps to have a second person.
Yeah. Sure
I do a
does.
lot of hunting by myself. But they can come from any direction. I've had them come from straight downwind before.
Have you really?
The last place you expect them. I don't know if their nose is full of cow or what, but I've had them run right within 20 yards of me from straight downwind, and it's like, what?
Yeah. Not what you'd think they would do. Right?
Well, that makes a great question, though, Kelly, was how are the rules do the same rules apply to the cats in the dark when you're hunting in the dark and you're calling? I assume those predators are also hearing you call, and are they coming in as well?
Over here, I haven't really. I think I've had one bobcat.
Really?
I haven't had a cougar that I've seen
At night?
but it doesn't mean they weren't out there. I've spotted cougars at night with thermals.
Have
Of
you?
course, you can't shoot them with thermals.
Yeah.
So
But,
that
that's
that
a
rule
rule
is
for
in
sure.
there. You cannot shoot a
It's considered
cougar.
It's considered big game.
Oh, okay.
So you cannot
Gotcha.
shoot it with thermals.
Okay.
Okay.
But they're out there definitely. I've seen tracks. It's like you can't shoot a bear at night with thermals
Yeah.
either.
Oh,
And
okay.
we know they're around.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen them. Over here, so
Yeah. Exactly.
they don't generally come to a rabbit call or something.
I was going to
or-
say the
or
wounded
coyote-
rabbit call. Yeah.
coyote vocalizations, but I use a lot of deer calls.
Yeah.
And small.
Well, the coyotes will begin to talk each other in on it too, right?
yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
kind of cool. They'll convince the other ones to come over and take them both, right? So
But bobcats are legal.
You can't shoot a bobcat.
Can't
Okay.
shoot a bobcat in this GMU
Okay.
or these GMUs. You get on the other side of the river and going north, you cannot because of the links over there. Same thing in some of the northern areas over where I live over in Elk. You start getting up north of Newport, you can't hunt bobcats at night because people can't tell the difference in them and the lynx.
yeah,
Oh,
the lynx is protected, right?
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Because that's all good to know too. Because
Oh, yeah.
I, way back when they first took the hounds away from us, a couple of friends of mine had started working on trying to walk cougars down. Get on the tracks, find a kill, get on the tracks, and then walk them down till you get a shot at them.
Wow.
And so we were learning all that. And of course, then as the population, I don't know if the population grew, but as we started trying to figure out other ways to hunt cougars, cougars started coming into coyote calls.
Yeah.
Guys were starting to figure out what sounds to use. And I know you've called in
I've
some
called
cougars.
in quite a few, yeah.
Yeah. And
Or
so I remember my cousin, Rick, actually, that
Yeah.
we had on the one of
Cousin
the
Rick.
first 3 podcasts. Cousin Rick and I found this elk kill, and Cousin Rick went in and he sat on the elk kill. And so he decided not to sit on the kill, but to sit where he could just face the kill and shoot it, because he really wanted the cougar, but he didn't really want to be close to the cougar.
Yeah.
And so he was trying to watch it from a couple hundred yards away, which usually the cougar's watching you from a couple hundred yards away.
Yeah.
But anyway, as he was calling, one of these friends of ours that was trying to teach us how to hunt on foot told him, he goes, you got to be careful when you're calling, especially around a kill like that. He goes, well, what do you mean? He goes, because if the cats know where the call's coming from, the cats will always go downwind.
Yeah.
They will circle you and go downwind. And he goes, and more than likely, you're downwind from the deal, and so they're going to circle around behind you, and while you're looking at the kill. And my cousin's like, never thought of that. So he was out calling one time, and he was paying attention, kept looking behind him, and he'd watch. Well, then he calls, and this one coyote is coming, and it comes from this long ways away, and it would run, and then it would stop. So he would call again, and it'd take off running again, and it comes right down. It's coming right to him, and he's just focused in. He got too dialed in, and the coyote had to go through a little draw, and then was going to come right up. And so he went to his shotgun. He was going to shoot with his shotgun, and he was just waiting for that coyote to come up. And he was just waiting. So he can't see it at this point. It's just in that draw. And when it comes up, it's going to be like 15 yards away. He's just waiting. All of a sudden, right behind him, woof. He will not admit that he peed his pants, but I'm pretty sure he peed his pants.
He left the scene.
Because there was a coyote that came in behind
yeah.
him. It wasn't a cougar, but it was a coyote. Yeah. And of course, first thought in his mind.
Yeah,
was
he used the
was a
terrain
cat.
to mask and went right around.
Went right around him,
Right
got
out of the
right-
manual, basically.
Got right
yeah.
in on him, scared him to death, and he goes, "Okay, next time you have to come.
Yeah.
And you have to look that way.
Yep.
And so, oh, that was the best story.
That's
So,
pretty
yeah.
funny.
That's
Yep.
like
But
when
yeah.
I-
Typical
when I had
behavior.
Jeff
isn't
out
it?
here last year and put one right in his lap.
Really?
3 feet from, it came up 2-track right from our 3 o'clock position and got right in front of him. I only had to call out about 10 feet in front of us. And it turned and looked at him and Jeff jumps over and sitting in my lap. I'm like, you
in
have
your
the gun.
lap.
Yeah, you have to go.
Y'all are protecting me.
I love it.
There's fun stories like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting character, interesting animal.
So that is cool. Now,
Yeah.
the bobcats, that would be something that would just be, people like to shoot.
Oh, yeah.
They don't get that opportunity,
Yeah,
even
that's
less
rare.
than coyotes. So, so that is pretty cool. Do we have a lot of bobcats around here?
There's not a ton. No, not a ton. There's a lot over where I live, but I hardly ever see them even,
Right.
But I don't target them a whole lot.
I worked with some biologists years ago, and I bet Eric would probably agree that if you come across a cat, so a bobcat, lynx, cougar, and it looks pristine, it's probably the only one around, or it's very rare. If you find ones that have a cut up ear and cuts, there's a lot of them fighting over the resources.
Really?
So
Oh,
that was
that's
how
good.
you could take a quick assessment at how rare the sighting might be or something.
Yeah.
It was just kind of cool information, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you find a cougar with a torn ear, you have a cougar problem in that area, and they're fighting it out over whatever's limited as far as food sources and in each other's territories and stuff. So,
Cool to know.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, just a side note. I don't know if he listens to the podcast or not, but Tyler's not living up here anymore.
Right.
He's a dad now. He's
He's
married.
a cat magnet.
And he is a
Yeah.
cat magnet, that kid. So, but yeah, I haven't talked to Tyler for a while, but Tyler was death on bobcats there for a while, for several years. He had it down.
huh?
He knew exactly what he was doing. But like I said, he's gotten soft. He got married, had a kid.
Happens to the best of us, right?
Yeah.
The nice thing with them is then you end up with some food because
Yeah.
you don't eat coyotes, but
Yeah.
bobcats are really good.
Bobcats are
that's
really
what
good.
I've heard,
So are cougars.
Yeah, cougar's great.
I've heard
Probably
that
my
too.
favorite.
Is it really?
Yeah.
And
Really?
any unique
Yeah.
cooking style to it or anything?
I like take larger than a steak, but small roast size, and sous vide it.
Roast. Okay.
I sous vide a lot of stuff, but sous vide that down with my spices and butter, and then put it on the grill just long enough to caramelize it.
Wow.
Slice it up nice and tender.
Really?
Cool.
Yep. That's my wife. First time she was around me when I shot a cougar, she's like, "That's great. What are we doing with all the meat and stuff?" So we're going to eat it. And she's, "I'll have a no thank you bite." So that's what she calls it.
No, thank you, mate.
Sure enough, she had her no thank you bite and asked for more.
No,
Yeah.
it's your favorite,
Oh,
right?
it really is good. So,
Yeah.
and that's how I was first time I ever ate bobcat. So,
Yeah.
I've never eaten bobcat. I don't, that's
tastes
Yeah,
real
I've heard it
similar.
before. Yeah.
real
that's
similar.
interesting. That's very cool.
Well, before we move into your calendar here, I got a couple things. Kind of the conversation comes around to why. We talked about livestock and ranch, but since these guys are scavengers, kind of in the raccoon and the possum realm, they do carry some diseases. Distempus is one of them, which your domesticated dog can get from them if they're all sharing kind of common areas where there's droppings and stuff like that. And then just different bacteria and parasites. So, I mean, it's a unique kind of animal, and those are other reasons for control, not just the harassment of the animals. So, it's got a purpose in management and whatnot. So,
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure we give up fawns to the
yeah,
coyotes.
yeah.
And I'm sure that, I know for a fact I give up pheasants. to
Yeah,
them.
we definitely know that, don't we?
And so,
And that's the thing is these guys
they're-
will get in and decimate something,
They're,
right?
they're a
So-
smart animal. They can figure it out if
Yeah.
there's a way to get in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
And
they
so-
don't like eat to get full. They will keep going just because. So
Well,
it'll ravage your whole pheasant farm if you're not careful.
And if they were starving to death, I guess I maybe would have a little sympathy for them, but they're not starving to death, and I've still seen them chew through, welded wire
Yeah.
around my bird pins.
It's like a sport almost.
It is, and then so we've put up fence chargers,
Yeah.
but I've been doing this pheasant deal for 2014 was my very first year of doing pheasants. So what are we? This is 25 and 26. So this is going to be about my 12th year of doing it, and at least 3 times. Actually, it's been 4 times because I just had one this year last month. 4 times I've had coyotes get into the pen, and you would think they would dig in. I've only had them dig in once. The other 3 times they chewed the wire and went through the wire.
Oh, wow.
That's something.
And that just blows my mind. And so when I know that I have coyotes around, my first call is to Kelly.
Yeah.
Like, Kelly, I'll buy you a dinner. Would you come and shoot coyotes around my pens, just to put a little pressure on them,
Yeah, just
make
to
they
pump the
know
brakes. Yeah.
not here. Go somewhere else, but just not here. And Kelly does a good job of that. But when you walk out into a pheasant pen that had, 500 or 1,000 pheasants in it, and all of a sudden you're walking by and you're going, I don't see any pheasants. You walk out there and they'll be, by the time I get done picking up dead pheasants, you'll be 250 to 300. Yeah. And that's just the dead ones those are the ones they played with and killed. Those are the last ones they killed, would be the ones laying on the top. Because as you're walking around, you'll go, well, what were they digging here? And here's a buried one.
Yeah.
They'll bury a half a dozen before they start just killing them for fun.
Yeah.
And that's not how many they ate when they got in there and they were just having fun, because you'll find pieces of another half a dozen or so.
Amazing.
And so
It'll just decimate your population on you.
it does, it takes out, somewhere $6,000-8,000 worth of pheasants for me. And so it becomes a financial hit.
Yeah, yeah.
And so at that point we're wanting to, but Kelly had the Predator Association president or something was with you one year back. About
Washington Predator Hunter Association.
Washington Predator Hunter Association, that's what it was. And he came out here and he was hunting with you one time.
Yeah,
And
a
I
couple
remember
times.
stopped by and we were having coffee or whatever. And I said something. I forget why you weren't here, but we were just sitting there drinking coffee. And I said, I teased Kelly. I says, I know he got 64 coyotes last year. And I thought that was a lot. But I don't see the difference. I look at deer all year long, and I see a lot of coyotes running around, and I don't see the difference. And he looked at me, and he just started laughing, and he goes, well, you live in a very good coyote habitat. And I says, what does that mean? And he goes, just like deer. He says, if there's good habitat and they're healthy, they have fawns, they reproduce, they do well. He says, Kelly's out here shooting all these other coyotes. It's just making room for more coyotes. And so when they mate, they go from 3 pups per litter to 6 pups per litter.
because the pressure's
or
not
9.
on the resource. Okay.
Because they're healthier. They can feed that many and keep up with that many. He
Holy
goes,
cow.
so I says, so you're telling me I'm making it worse? He goes, no, I'm just telling you, Kelly's got, job security.
Forever.
So
Yeah.
forever. And
I
so
remember Rusty going, maybe we shouldn't do this. It's going to be that way either way.
either way, you're going to have coyotes.
Yeah.
You got range coyotes and you got roving coyotes,
Yep.
and you're going to have got both out here.
Yeah. And I think people need to understand that in the management
yeah.
realm.
Yeah.
That
Unchecked is
that
not
are
good.
unchecked is not good.
Yeah.
And so we need to be able to have a tool to go out here and manage them.
And this is a very safe way to do this.
It is. It is. Humane.
Traps aren't legal, and traps will get a bycatch, which you may not want. So this is a humane alternative to some of that stuff.
When you're hunting and you call somebody's pet in, their border collie, you can tell the difference in that it's a border collie that came from a mile away than a coyote.
Yeah.
Which I've had that happen out here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
They're
Well-
lab and border collie both together.
Yeah.
Thought I had a double at first.
Well,
Yeah,
if they
that
were
looked
chasing
interesting
deer,
through the thermal, wouldn't it?
if they were chasing deer, you do have a double, just so you know. It's okay with me. I know I have no authority on this, but
Well, so to get involved in the nighttime thermal optics predator hunt, contact you. So
Yep.
how do we get a hold of you?
so getting a hold of me is fairly easy. You just go to the Hidden Ranch Outfitter web page, and you can fill out the form, and that goes right into my email box. You can call the number on there, and it gets right to my cell phone. And so you can do that either way. You can text me on my cell phone, and there's voicemail on my cell phone.
Yep.
And so we have emails, texts, voicemails. We have all kinds of ways to get a hold of me, and those are the best ways.
Okay.
I can tell you right now, as soon as somebody gets me and says, we want to book this date, my first phone call will be
Yeah,
to Kelly,
to
and I will have
coordinate
Kelly
schedules. Yeah.
get a hold of you.
Yep.
And so that you guys can match your schedules.
Yeah.
And so that way Kelly knows what you're wanting. And he's also going to ask you, did you just pass hunter safety and this is the first time you've held a gun? Or is this something that you've been hunting for
Yeah.
several years and you want to try thermal. You want to come out and see what it's like to carry a gun in the dark.
Yeah.
Because it is different.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that'll be how this is going to go through.
Okay, and then for folks that want to see more of it, Kelly's got tons of media stuff on social media and YouTube and whatnot. So,
Yep.
Kelly, where can they go, or where would you steer them to kind of see some of the stuff in action, see what it looks like looking through the thermals?
Instagram at Easy Jeep.
Okay.
There's lots of it on there. There's some on
We got 4 minutes of
Some
it
on the
right
HRO
on the website. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got stuff on your own out there that's pretty cool and pretty entertaining, and could get somebody kind of excited about it, and also see like how it would work.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Because
And that's
it is dark out there.
that recording that you're seeing is recorded through the scope.
Yeah.
That's the same thing you're seeing in the scope through one eye.
Yeah. Takes
So
a little getting used to.
Yeah, it's a little bit getting used to, and it's a different platform.
Yeah.
But once you get it down, you love it's fun.
Yeah.
You either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Well, and I'd love that we have some of the videos that we've posted on there actually have the cows in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Actually
Yeah.
have the sprinklers in the
Sprinkler
background.
in the background. Very
You know,
expensive equipment. yeah.
equipment back there so that
Yes.
you can see. Kelly can actually see if once you know what you're seeing through that scope,
Yeah.
you're way safer.
Yeah.
You're,
Yeah. The
you know, and
degree
that
of
makes
safety goes up immensely.
like that landowner and that cattle grower. He calls Kelly. Are you coming to hunt some
Yeah.
cows?
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. It's
so-
pretty cool to see it in action,
Yeah,
like
it is.
live, and just see how fast things happen.
And I've had a lot of people ask me, how can you tell the difference in a coyote and a dog, a domestic dog? And that's one of the reasons I'm going to be using a scanner, because I know what a coyote's gait is like. I know what the way their tail moves.
Yep.
And to the untrained eye, they may not see the difference.
Yeah.
But once you see them side by side, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, it's very clear.
Right.
Yeah.
If you only had one show up, you might be able to confuse it. But if you had a dog and a coyote in there, you can tell the
Yeah, it'd be
difference
obvious.
right
yeah,
away.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
why
it's
you
very
need,
unique.
You can
Yeah.
even look
Yeah.
at the video difference. And maybe I'll take a video of
That'd be cool.
my healer,
Yeah.
And he's a little bit smaller than the coyote. He's not a full size healer,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got the gait. But when you look at him, there's no doubt.
Doesn't match.
doubt.
Yeah.
Because the dingo in him, it has a similar gait to the
Mm-hmm.
to the coyote. But
Yeah.
there's no problem telling the difference.
Cool. All right. Well, Rusty, it's time for your calendar. What is on your calendar here? Kind of beginning of October?
Well, it is the beginning of October, and we just finished the first camp of muzzleloader.
Yeah. How'd they do?
They did great.
Yeah.
They did fantastic. I was so excited. Just a selfless plug just for Kelly. He came last year. He didn't get a deer, and we shot at several. Okay. He went home, and I told him, it was hard for me, Kelly, but I did tell him, just because Zeiss doesn't offer it, a 1-power scope, and he put that on his
Oh, he did?
deal.
Okay.
Oh, good
and
deal.
he started shooting it, and he says, from the first shot after he put that one power crosshaired scope on there. He goes, I knew this was it.
Those old
And
man
he goes,
eyes. That's the red dot of the muzzle loader world. Huh?
Well, it's actually cross.
It's crosshairs.
You can have a red dot too.
Yeah, there's in red dots you can buy. There's a plethora of those. But as far as I know, Vortex is the only one that makes the crosshaired one. And they're hard to find. If you find one, you need to buy it because I've been actually looking for one for my CVA.
Years.
And but he told me, he says, Rusty, my confidence level just after leaving here last year, he says, my confidence level was in the toilet. He says, it was terrible. He says, I just knew. He said, I didn't know if I could actually get better because I was so bad when I was up there. He says, but man, I put that scope on, and he says, man, I was putting everything on the paper. Everything was great. I could reach out. I could feel, even though I had no power, but just having those crosshairs, he felt very comfortable. Yeah. It was a whole comfort level is what it was. Yeah. And so, and then the first buck we sneak on, we blew that.
Okay.
I'm sure that wasn't the guide's fault. Just saying.
The old step on a twig.
And so, and then we had one walk by the truck, and I thought we were going to kill that one actually, because it was a beautiful buck and it was walking right by the truck. And he goes, I want to shoot that buck. And I said, I want you to shoot that buck, but I'm really not sure how you're going to get out of the truck right at the moment.
In my truck.
And and we're sitting there, and he's walking through the field, right by the truck.
Oh my gosh.
And so we're just sitting right where they want to cross the road is what they want to do. And so here they are out in the CRP, and they just come through this draw, and this doe comes up, and I go, well, hey, look, there's deer coming by the truck. And first the doe, and then another one, and then another one. And then I saw the doe hang up, and I'm thinking, what? Why is she hanging up? We haven't. The truck's been here quietly for half an hour because we've been glassing these other deer 2 miles away when there's deer right by the truck. And she hung up, and I thought, there's something coming. There's more deer coming. And I turned back, and I said, hey, there's horns, there's antlers. And he goes, you want me to get out? And I'm going, well, I don't even know if it's legal yet or not. And you are going to have to get to the fence and from the road, because we were sitting on the county road. I says, you are going to have to make it to the fence. And I says, just wait till I see if it's legal. Well, that was the wrong thing to do. I think if I would have got him out first and got over to the fence. But anyway, the buck walks out. Beautiful, beautiful buck. And so I said, okay. So I coached him, got him out of the truck, got him to walk all the way over to the fence, and I stayed in the truck. And as soon as he got to the fence, I ranged him. And he was, 8 yards from me. Okay, so then that was the hunter I ranged. Okay, and then because the deer started to move back. The lead doe, she did not like this at all. Yeah. So she started to circle around. So the buck could care less, and he just started following her around. Finally, I got the buck to stop, and I told him, I says, okay, it was 108 yards on my deal, so I told him 100 yards. 100 yards, just hold 100 yards, you're gonna be fine. And I saw him. He'd got the cap on by the time he got to the fence. He put the cap on. He was all ready. So I saw him pull the hammer back, and as soon as he pulled the hammer back, because the buck stopped. Absolute perfect. And I thought, dude, it's your day to die. There's no buck this stupid in the whole wide world.
Suicide deer.
It was. And he just stops. And I saw him reach up and pull the hammer back, and I'm going, man, you got to shoot quick. And that lead doe she hated that. And she turned around, she came back, and she stood right next to him. Oh. And then the fawn came, and then the other 4 deer came. And then he never moved. The buck was on the hill, and all the deer just stood between us and him. And he has no shot. Oh, and he's looking at me, and he goes, I don't have a shot. I said, and here I'm whispering at 8 yards, right? And I'm still in the truck.
Good guide would have honked the horn or something.
And so I said, we're just going to have to wait it out.
Yeah.
And so he stood there, offhand. And
what a cool experience, though.
All of a sudden, the doe, she was having no part of it. She was stomping her feet and everything else. For what? I'm just sitting there. And finally, everybody just turned and ran off, and he didn't even get a shot.
Oh,
So he gets in the truck, and so it was kind of a fun moment. It was really cool to see the deer.
Really cool.
I mean, it was like the best story of all time. He's texting everybody when he gets back in the truck. So later that afternoon, we came in, we had lunch. Later that afternoon, I took him out, and I spotted a buck, and I said, we're going. We're just going to go over there. And he goes, he's in the middle of a CRP field. I says, yeah, I know. He goes, it's flat. And I says, yeah, I know. He goes, how? Okay, whatever. He says, there's no way. And so we drive around, and I park, and I'm like 3/4 of a mile away. And I get out of the truck, and I said, see, he can't see us. We're at 3/4 of a mile. He says, I don't even know if I could see the deer. And I said, just follow me. And I says, we might not make it. I says, it is a pretty flat field, and it's just a CRP field. But there was just enough. It was one that had the tall wheatgrass in it.
Yeah.
yep.
And I just played that to my favor. And I walked that guy 3/4 of a mile. And we walked right up to 100 yards, and the buck was still feeding when he shot him.
Oh, perfect.
And
Nice job.
he said when he shot him, he just turned to me and he goes, I would never believe that story. Never, ever. He says, I had to live it in order to believe it. He goes, I don't know how you did that. And I says, well, it's back to that, what you were talking about, the coyotes.
Yeah.
You can recognize their gait. You can recognize their tail. You know, I've seen enough mule deer now. I can recognize, you know, okay, that twitch means the twitch of the tail now means he's leaving.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when he turns his ears like that, he's leaving. When he does this or whatever. And I says, I just played that all the way across the field. And I said, we had just enough wind to keep it in our face. So anyway, so it was successful. It was really good.
Well, good job.
So we just got done with muzzleloader. But we opened the preserve. And so we've had a lot of pheasant hunters come in.
Okay.
We've already sold a lot of pheasants, had some guys come in. And because of that, the word's out that I'm open and going.
Great.
And so I'm getting a lot of calls. I'm booking up a lot of days right now. So if you want a cabin, boy, you need to be calling me now. If you want, birds, we've got lots of birds, and I've talked to the suppliers. We got a lot of those. But yeah, so my calendar is getting fuller and fuller and fuller.
And rifles coming up.
And yeah, this will be the last weekend of muzzleloader, and then rifle will start next week, and we'll have 2 camps of that. And so, and I'm still trying to build the shooting range for the rifle hunters. And so I am swamped busy right at the moment. He shot that deer on his first day of his hunt. The hunter was from Ohio. And so he went down and bought a 2-day fishing license.
Oh, perfect.
And Skip took him down one day and fished with him while I did normal work. I didn't get to go fishing. But the second day I went fishing with him. We went right down to Rufus Woods, caught some really nice triploids, had some fun sitting in the boat.
Yeah, they were jumping on the drive up here. They were every water source was jumping. So
I'm just like, it was a lot of fun. Skip's a good captain, and so it was kind of fun to.
Yeah, I bet he is.
And he's a kick in the pants, and I had a chance to. He goes, here, grab the wheel. He says, I'm going to go back and get this other gear changed. And he was changing gear on the deal. And he's standing up in the back of the boat right next to the engine. And the hunter looked over at me, and I put my hand on the throttle, and he goes, I dare you. I go, yeah, well, Skip is my friend.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we had a great time. So I got to do some fishing.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool too. So, but anyway, so the calendar is lots of hunting right now.
okay, so
it's a good
call
time.
and get yourself in
One of
here.
the things that I want to put out on the calendar is now would be the time to be booking for the ponds.
Yeah.
We have those ponds on there, and I've only have one guy right now that's taken a pond, and he's only taking it for a couple of days that he's going to shoot ducks on. But man, every body of water that I
Yep,
drive
got,
by goes by. There's
every type of duck on there.
every
yeah.
type of duck. Usually we just
The
I see
little
teal
black
and
ones with
mallard.
the red eye, whatever they
yeah,
are. We're
yeah.
out here today. Yeah.
So yeah, that well, even when we went to town for lunch, we saw ducks on every pond. So guys, there's an opportunity on the website that's not being used. So
Yeah, and what are you going to do? Put a guy out at a pond for the day or something like
what
that?
we do
Drop
is
him off?
we just give them half a day.
Yeah.
And if I don't have anybody else coming, I'm giving you
Yeah.
can stay as long as you want. But you might want to take a nap, or at least I would. I couldn't stay awake sleeping in a blind that long.
Remind me, blind wise, did they need to bring a blind?
Most of them bring their own.
Yeah, I was gonna
I've got
say,
a couple
you
of
do, okay.
of the ones that the pop up.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the overhead pop up, but just the up in front of you.
Just a
And you
big
can kind of
square,
grass
yeah.
yourself in
Okay.
and do your own thing. But most of the guys will bring their own. Even those lay down ones, you can just lay them down.
That would
next to
definitely
the
work
lake,
on some of the stuff.
and
Yeah.
they'll keep you a little bit warmer out
Okay.
of the wind. So,
Okay,
but, yeah,
cool. Call
there's
about
other
that.
things you can
That's a
do,
good one.
and we'll figure something out.
Okay, great. Well, Kelly, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Rusty, thanks
Yeah,
for having me
thanks,
up at the
Kelly.
cabin.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. So, from the cabins, don't forget to get a hold of Rusty. There's so many things to do up here in so little time. Right?
Absolutely. Give me a call.
So, yeah. Until next time, everybody be safe, and we'll see you on the next episode.